following program is rated R18 plus. May contain coarse language, sexual references, drug references, and a bunch of other shit. So if you're under the age of 18, get the fuck out.
Can you read, my son?
Well, that depends. Can you go fuck yourself?
Welcome back, fam! Big ol' welcome back, fam. What the fuck is up? What are we talking about? Well, got some shit going down today. Things be fucking happening. I've tried a different angle on the fucking camera web. Camera angle. We're doing some other shit with the fucking camera today. We're also trying to do some other shit with the other shit. And that doesn't make much sense. But have some things to talk about. Stay hydrated, fam. Got a big old glass of water here. Trying to wet my mouth. Make sure everyone can hear me properly. No gurgliness. That was weird to say. I was about to clap, realised that the microphone's right next to my face. I went to clap and go, something, something. And then that doesn't make sense. But if you're watching the video, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. And if you're watching the video, you can also see this vibrant fire behind me. Huh? Trying to stay a little warm. You also might see that my face is hella fucking red. Don't you love football? As in soccer? Because my face be red as fuck right now. I played keeper for a few games. I gotta say, I fucking killed that shit. Made a lot of saves. Kept my team in that shit. We also played some old people. One of my boys knocked one of the old lads out with his hardcore fucking lead boot. Just popped it right through, hit him in the face. That was funny as shit. He was down for about 18 minutes. And I was in the sun for about 8 hours. The moral of the story is, wear sunscreen, because my face hurts. And tomorrow, it'll be blistery as fuck. And I'm crying. I got myself some aloe vera somewhere around here. It fucking hurts. So that's what that is. Now, we lost in the semis, just for anyone who gave a fuck. But we had a fun day. Thanks to Lanyon Football Club, even though I don't play for them. But they set up a sick little event. So shout out to them and shout out to my Burns boys for coming out. We killed them. To start off with, I just want to talk about something a little deep again, because we can't seem to escape moral sadness. Anyway, in Christchurch, some people died. There's an Australian shooting people. There's an Australian shooting people in New Zealand in a mosque. And I just want to say, well, it's fucked. I'm very sad about this. And the reason I'm sad about this is they're a pretty peaceful religion, faith. The Muslims believe things that most Westerners, I would say, don't believe in. However, I don't find them on the corner of the street shoving that shit down your throat. Although, maybe I just don't have that experience. I'm sure there's shitty religious people everywhere, no matter where the fuck you live. And I don't know, but I just feel like from my experience, most Muslims have been chill as fuck. A lot of terrorism has been committed against Muslims more than any other religion, in my personal opinion. And so it sucks that this happened. Not only that, it was live streamed and it's some horrendous footage. I can't bring myself to watch it. But that shit's fucked up. That shit's absolutely fucked. God damn, man. It's the thing for me is that Muslims aren't going around raping choir boys. Shout out to my Catholic fam right there. Fuck you. They're just not. They're not raping little children, and they're just. From the video, I've heard that they were just praising their God, and to me, that's fine. I'm not gonna fault you for that. Go ahead, fucking praise your creator if you believe so. But if there's massacres, I just wish it was of the faith of people that are raping people, and not innocent ones, to stay fair. Because I'm sure there are innocent people in the Catholic Church, but they're dumb enough to be in the Catholic Church, which is a cult, by the way. The Catholic Church is absolutely a cult. It's an ancient cult, however, it is still a cult. Anyway, fuck. I'm disappointed that it was an Australian shooter. I'm annoyed that they live streamed it because that's just disgusting. That person, people had families, and those people, if they want to see the last moments, or just have to think of the last moments, all they can think is gunned down on a live video, which, might I add, Facebook and Instagram and shit are struggling to take down. All social medias are struggling to get rid of it, and therefore this person's fame, I don't actually know this cunt's name, but this person's fame is just rapid. Not more so than two other people in this situation, rather. Might I add, one of the most disappointing parts of this, second, obviously, to a bunch of people dying, and there being a shooting in general, just at first. Another thing is, an Australian politician took it as a chance to denounce the faith of Muslim or Muslimism. The Muslim faith, yeah. So his name is Fraser Anning, and he's a senator in Australia, senator for Queensland. And this is the statement he released. I'll read it word for word. The 15th of March 2019, he released, speaking following reports of multiple shootings at two mosques in New Zealand earlier today, Senator Fraser Anning has responded with strong condemnation, apparently, according to his own release. I'm utterly opposed to any form of violence within our community, and I totally condemn the actions of the gunman, he said. As a very basic human would. However, this is where he gets shitty. Whilst this kind of violent vigilantism can never be justified, what it highlights is the growing fear within our community, both Australia and New Zealand, of the increasing Muslim presence, which, might I add, is a result of war-torn countries and terrorism in their own countries. He goes on to say, as always, left-wing politicians and the media will rush to claim that the causes of today's shootings will lie with gun laws or those who hold nationalist views, but this is cliched nonsense. Fuck yourself! The real cause of bloodshed on New Zealand streets today is the immigration program, which allowed Muslim fanatics to migrate to New Zealand in the first place. There's no... because they're at church, they're fanatics? Isn't that what they're supposed to do? Let us be clear, while Muslims may have been the victims today, usually they are the perpetrators worldwide. Muslims are killing people in the name of their faith on an industrial scale. Let's just clarify that ISIS and Muslims are different. They're just different. The entire religion of Islam is simply the violent ideology of a 6th century despot. I don't know what that means. A despot? Masquerading as a religious leader, which justifies endless war against anyone who opposes it, and calls for the murder of unbelievers and apostates. The truth is that Islam is not like any other faith. It is a religion equivalent of fascism, and just because the followers of this savage belief were not the killers in this instance does not make them blameless. And then he goes on to quote a Bible verse. Let me say something to you, fucking cunt face Anning chicken liquor, raw chicken liquor. There's fanatics in every religion. Roman Catholics conquered a whole continent and more, if I'm not mistaken. And white people who claim to be Christians colonized in many other places. For example, Hawaii was conquered by US, and they're all Christian cunts, according to statistics. You know? That's a generalization massively, but if you're going to talk about that shit, just know that Catholics and Christians, just because you're in the Western world, Anning, and especially because you believe in the Christian or Catholic faith, just goes to show how ignorant you are towards what Christians and Catholics have done in their entire existence, which is fucked other people, physically and metaphorically, in terms of colonization, thievery, and slavery, to boot. Yeah? Listen. To boot, you dumb motherfucker. Anyway. I'm just here hoping that Anning goes to prison, because we have a new hero among us. Young, what is his fucking name? Will Connolly, also known as Egg Boy. If you've seen him on the internet, he egged Anning in the face. He Snapchatted himself egging Anning in the back of the head. To which, and he's 17 or 16 or something. To which Anning replied with 2 punches. So, punching a minor is different to egging someone in the back of the head after being a racist cunt. So I'm hoping that Anning goes to prison. Fuck Anning, what's good, you piece of shit? Yeah, so, that's the situation in Australia at the moment, and I'm pretty disappointed with the way things are going so far this year in terms of Australia. We're shit cunts, apparently. We're run by shit cunts, and I can't believe he's a senator for Queensland after that. Anyway, why don't we talk about sex? That's what most people are here for, because we're all losers. Listen, this is a post that I relate to. So I decided to screen grab this. Excuse me. I decided to grab this, screen cap this, and talk about this on the pod. Boyfriend of 6 years feels most confident when lasting long in bed. The poster says, I want to break this feeling. Here's what she says about this. My boyfriend likes to base his sexual confidence in his ability to last long in bed. Don't get me wrong, he likes it when he gets me off. But if we have quick sex, he gets upset that it wasn't good and that he came too fast. When we first started dating, he mentioned how him and his ex could have sex all night long. I don't like long sex. I get sore, but I always tell him how much I enjoy it. During and after, and I've never faked an orgasm. Nice, girl, what's up? His ego kind of upsets me in the bedroom, though, because I feel replaceable. If his confidence and satisfaction is stemming from his own abilities, it doesn't matter who he's fucking. That's a very thoughtful way to think about it. He'll feel good anyway. I would love to be able to shift this confidence away from his own performance to our experience together. I want him to leave being confident because we had sex, a good sensual experience, him and I, regardless of the time it lasted. Firstly, how can I create a safe space for him to be able to loosen up and enjoy it without worrying? Without it feeling like he didn't do a good job because it didn't go for a long time. I think that makes sense. That's interesting because I relate to that, kinda. I can go for a long time, in fact, to my own detriment. I'll explain that in a minute. going for a long time is important to guys, just to make sure that they're not blasted for prematurely ejaculating. Prematurely ejaculating is massively stupid. It's a real issue for people, and I've made fun of it before because it's fucking funny, but also because if you think about it, guys just can't like, if you're coming quickly, it's because you're horny and you don't have a big resistance. And oh, I just got blasted with volume from my computer. That fucking hurt. You probably saw that if you're on the fucking video cast when I'm like, now I've lost my way. I was talking about how ejaculating fast. Something about how prematurely ejaculating is funny. Anyway. Imagine prematurely ejaculating. Who doesn't watch porn and masturbate? That's how you kind of build resistance. Anyway, but dudes do get slammed for, you know, they get slammed for not lasting a long time, and they also get slammed for not having a big dick. And we can be sensitive about this shit for sure. Mine is like average length, penis-wise, but I'd say above average thickness. If anyone wanted to know, I'd say about that thick, for the video viewers. But the thing is, I can last forever. I hit all the walls, but firstly, most importantly, I use a lot of foreplay. But I masturbate more than the average person anyway, so I'm gonna last forever. How can she fix his problem? I'd say he should be aiming for her orgasms and his own orgasms, more importantly than how long it lasted, because that's really just a staple of... That's the journey, that's not the goal. The goal isn't to last for long, it really is the journey, more so than... I mean, if someone says he didn't last long, but I came like 8 times within my period of time that we're fucking, that's the goal. You don't have to last long if you're making him come. That's my only advice. Like, just tell him, hey babe, we lasted for 8 hours and I still didn't squirt on your fucking face. So maybe that can be what to talk about, and refocus him on a different goal where you come and that's what he cares about. And maybe coming at the same time is a cool little challenge for him. Man, that fire hot as fuck right now. Ooh. Anyway, yeah, so that's my only thought on the situation, really. Just tell him the truth and be like, listen, you don't have to last forever. I don't know if that's a song. But, I had to say it. I had to sing it. That brings me to my own thing. I've been lasting forever. I always have lasted a long time. The entire time I've been fucking in my entire life. But lately, I had sex very recently, and multiple times with the same person. And as far as I know, they ejaculated multiple times. Orgasmed. It was a woman, just to clarify for you. They orgasmed multiple times. For some reason, I can't seem to come myself. And I like pussy. It was consensual, which is important. It was... Firstly, we used a condom, which was good. But then also we were able not to use a condom because we trusted each other. So we did that. We had a shower together. We did that. She played with my dick. I played with her pussy. We had sex so many times and I still couldn't come. I just ran out of energy a bunch of times. I was kind of tired just from being tired. But not only that. I mean, we tried some different positions. And one other thing I wanted to talk about. I think she choked me a little bit. And... you know, I've been the choker before. I've got to say I'm not a huge fan of being choked. The rest of the sex was good. But I didn't enjoy being choked that much. Maybe that's some feedback I'll give her. and I'm hoping that she'll give me all the feedback that I need to help her orgasm again. She loves foreplay though. I'm starting to think it's intimacy though is my problem perhaps. I'm a real romantic and I love shit. And I've got feelings kind of for someone, definitely for someone that's not close by. And I think that's where the problem is stemming from in terms of cum. I don't have sex that much. I ejaculate all the time by myself. I'm starting to think it's just like if I'm not intimate with you, I probably won't come. Like if I don't have genuine feelings for you, I probably won't come. If I have feelings for someone else, I probably won't come. So, but on the choking topic, I'd prefer to be the choker and the spanker and the hair puller, which I did all those three things and she enjoyed. But I don't want to be choked, I don't think. And I like soft stuff, like lick my ear, boo. That's what the fuck I want. Lick on the earlobe or in the earlobe or any of that shit while we're having sex, and I probably would come. No, it's not true, but it feels fucking fantastic during sex for me. So that's a tip for anyone who's listening out. If you have any other weird sex shit like I do with my ears, hit me up on the R18 page and let me know what your weird sex shit is. If you feel like you've got weird sex shit. That brings me to the next thing, which is what was the weirdest thing someone asked you to do during sex? And there's a few posts here. I had a girl who asked me to give her hickeys. In and of itself, it's not a weird ask, but she demanded that I sucked so hard she wanted it to bleed. I tried and I gave it my best effort, but no matter how hard I tried, it wasn't enough. Eventually, my mouth got tired and my tongue was sore. She was a tiny woman who fucked like a gorilla. I've had some decently rough sex, but this was legitimately painful. She also lived with like 3 roommates in a single family house, and she was the loudest screamer I've ever been with, and it was an uncomfortable time. Hickeys are strange, huh? I haven't had or given a hickey for like a while, dude. Hickeys are kind of fun, though. Hickeys, I haven't had one since I had a girlfriend. Which was like 1.5 years or 2 years, maybe even 2.5 years ago. Yeah. I zoned out for a moment. That's a weird thing to do while you have a podcast. I dated a guy briefly that couldn't get off unless I choked him until he passed out. I'd choke him, keep on writing, then when he came to, this is how it had... when he came to, he came. This is how it had to be every time or he wouldn't finish, and it didn't last very long in terms of how long we'd been fucking. Apparently she gave it up after a while because it's weird. To choke someone and they come to and they're like... Ugh. It's like a zombie, dude. Imagine just being like... And then their person is just like... Ah! Imagine they have a really weird cum noise too. They're like... She's like... And he's like... Yeah! Yeah! Or like... Yo! Oh! He's like howling because he's fucking coming. Oh, man. He'd be like... Fuck's up, mama. Oh, no, even worse. He'd be like... Mama! Oh. Incest jokes are funny. Okay, this is another one. Not something she asked me to do, but every time she'd orgasm, she'd bury her face in my shoulder and repeat over and over, God, I fucking hate you so much. That's got me a little sad. That's sad. Met this girl on Tinder who was a bit of an exhibitionist, so when we first did the nasty, we did it in my apartment living room with my roommates in their respective living room. Their respective rooms. She liked the fear of being caught, and I was really horny, so fuck it. I've done that. People were asleep, but I still did that shit, and It was fucking sick. I enjoyed that thoroughly. And I started it. Actually, we were watching a movie and I just started licking. If any of my ex's friends are listening to this, you lived there while I fucked her in the living room. Even though you hate her, my bad, not hers. Because I started that. Here's a post about something similar. Oh no, fuck! Hold on, fam. I got you. I got you, fam. We're good. I'm a little annoyed that happened. Fuck. That sucks so much dick. I hope it's still recording. I'm gonna say it is. Has anyone had sex where you pretend you're not really doing it? I really don't know how to explain this one, as you can probably already tell. Anyway, yesterday my boyfriend and I were really riled up and horny, but we were both being stubborn. So we were basically playing the game of who can wait the longest. And there was a lot of teasing and ignoring each other on the both parts as we tried to break each other. Whilst he was talking on the phone or talking about some shit, I can hardly read this because the lights, when I looked directly into them before, I got those like blue spots right in the center of my vision. He was trying to ignore my advances. I just kind of started slipping him inside me while I was on top. I just kind of sat there with him inside me as he continued to talk with much difficulty as I just talked along with him about anything other than what we were doing while I was slowly riding him. This has happened to me yet again. Another thing I did with my ex was I was on the phone about a job interview, and I was just like sitting on my bed, and she pulled my shit down and started sucking on my peen, which was very rare. She probably sucked on my penis twice in the entire time we dated. And so the craziest part was I was on the phone to someone about a job interview, and there was quite a long conversation because it was the pre-job interview invite conversation where they ask you some certain things. If you're personable on the phone, they'll invite you to the interview. So I'm there with the fucking massively hard cock. And it's just... I had to not come because I was on the phone to another woman, and I'm sure she probably heard slightly heavy breathing, and I did still get the chance to talk to the person and go to the interview. However, my dick was being massively just abused, and not only did she suck it, she started riding whilst I was on the phone, just as I was trying to like end the conversation, and I was getting the time and I was writing the time of the interview down. She just slid right on, and from then on, as soon as I wrote it down, I was like, thank you, goodbye, and then I fucked the shit out of her. That was probably the best sex I ever had with her. And that's a thing that I love to do, is the fear of being caught, like sex in public, sex on the phone shits. And that's really pornographic if you think about it as a category of sexual encounters. I fucking love that shit. And it's a fantasy for me to do more of that. And I want to do kind of, you know, I kind of want to do more public shit than I've done. So that's that. That's the confession of the day, I suppose. We weren't wearing condoms either, so that shit was moist as fuck, and you know that's better than... Man, condoms are good, though. They're good. I like condoms. They're fucking good for you. Because, you know, TIs, as in STIs, you don't get them if you use them, pretty much. No children. Fuck that shit. And thirdly, Easy cleanup? Don't know. But man, that's probably the best sex I've had. Was well, I did have sex at the Carillion, although that was very short. If that had lasted any longer, that might have been the best thing ever. But I did it at the Carillion at the running track in Canberra. That shit was fucking dope. Some guy came around the corner. I think I've talked about it on this podcast. That. Sorry for everyone who had to hear and see that. I'm leaving that on there. Nah, that was a bit vomity. Man, I haven't had a Big Mac in like a month, but like that tastes like a big old Big Mac. Ugh. I feel sick. That's disgusting. Ugh. Anyway, I'm gonna go choke down a bunch of water after that. Use condoms. Bang. Get consent. Bang. Don't shoot people. Fuck yourself. Fraser Anning. Thank you, Egg Boy, for loving us. I'm gonna get the fuck out of here, but massive thanks to my guy Sohan and his new project Just Grow with all the capitals and the spaces and shit. You can follow him on Facebook and Instagram and SoundCloud. Check him out. My socials are on SoundCloud. You can find me R18 plus space podcast. On YouTube it's R18 space pod. On Insta it's R18 _ podcast. If you want to email me, it's r18pod@gmail.com. And on Facebook, it's R18 plus space podcast. Now, I want you to like this video, love this SoundCloud sound audio, and hit me up on Facebook with some shit. And if you do that, you'd be the fan of the week. And I'd shout you out on I'll shout you out on the page. If you're not my boy Sohan, that be fucking killing it with the tracks on the start and the end of this shit. So, any new fans, hit me up. I want to shout you out. Tell me some funny sex shit. That's all I have to say for today. Fuck Fraser Anning.